Civilization 7 has made a big announcement, or at least the developers have. They will now work internally on the feature that you can actually play through the game as just one civilization. So, no civilization hopping between the ages anymore. Now, before you're wondering, oh, why is that? When is that coming? Can we already do that? Okay, hold your horses. Here is a few official announcements about this, and then I will talk a little bit about how I feel about it and why they are probably doing that. So, the official announcement is literally that they are now starting internal playtesting for it, and they are still gathering thoughts on it. In the next few months, they do want to invite community members to check it out. So, TLDR, this feature is not coming with the next patch, and it will probably not come out before next year. That's very important to note because I know that some people would love to just start immediately, but it will take so much longer. I would even go so far to say this will not happen before probably next year in March or February, depending on how the play tests are going, because this is a core feature which is changing. Let's not forget that. This is not a small change. The whole Civilization 7, well, gameplay is built on the idea that for one era you are playing one civilization, then for the next era you are playing the next civilization, and so on and so forth. This is why a lot of people are quite unhappy when it comes to Civ 7. And I'm on two minds here. On the one hand, I'm not a big fan myself, but the biggest problem I really have with that is it was badly implemented. Like, they probably took a look at humankind, thought that that would be the next big thing and people will love it, then they implemented that in a different way than humankind did in Civilization 7. And when they realized, oh, shoot, this is actually not hitting as much as it should with the players, it was already too late for them. And now it would take quite a bit of effort to get that out of the system because, as I said, the problem is how they have implemented it. That the era ends, and then you have to choose like some of the new civs, and it literally throws you into the main menu to do so, right? And it completely interrupts the flow of Civilization 7 every time you're doing it. And the changes and the addition it brings with it are not really worth it, in my opinion. What they should have probably done, which would have been much better, is that the leader changes. Right? The civilization stays the same, but you always have a different leader leading, let's say, Egypt, France, and so on and so forth. They could have done something there. But no, they decided that the civilizations are changing, which is a bit weird, let's be honest. So now, instead of maybe iterating on it and maybe trying to make it work, they just want to remove it completely from the game, which will probably make most people happy, but it also feels a bit like a band aid. Now, look, I'm curious to see how they will implement that because when they are doing this, they have to do some big works on the civs. Because one of the reasons why they explained they did this was for gameplay balance. The problem was that civilizations which are only good in one era was not really what they wanted to do. It felt not good to have only one or two eras where your civilization is good at and then being useless in the next era, right? So that means they have to put a lot of work into that to make it still not feel like that if they want to keep it. Because if they are just, well, allow you to play one civilization, but not really do some gameplay changes here, we are going back to this feeling of, okay, this character is good in one era, like in the previous Civilization games, but is completely, well, not so great in the others. And I know, like the purist here will say, yeah, but that's how Civilization always was working. And I get that, but I would definitely love to see them tackling that issue somehow. All right. But we will see. As I said, they want to invite people into the playtest, and we will see how that goes. Which, by the way, just to make this clear, I find ironic because they had playtests of Civilization 7 way before the release. Well, way before, like half a year before the release. I remember that content creators were invited, and behind closed doors, they told them pretty bluntly that those change your civilization is a bad idea. It doesn't click, it doesn't work. The problem was the game came out 6 months after. They were basically at the finishing process of the game. It was far too late to get any feedback, and they were trapped. So everyone just agreed to make the best out of it, and here we are. Now they are looking for playtesters again to tell them again if this works or not. And I hope this time at least they really invite the playtesters early enough that they can tell them how this works or not. And not that this is already a done deal and the new system is also shit. Right? Like, do this right. Now I will add one last positive spin to this. Because I know it looks a bit on the negative side. But the positive spin here I want to add is at least they are allowed to do changes to a very integral system. Like as I said before, this whole system with changing your civilizations is not a small thing. We are talking about one of the major pillars of Civilization 7 which needs to be changed. And that they are allowing to do that is a good sign, at least. Right? They will try to make changes even if they take a little bit longer. Not a lot of developers get that chance. Like a lot of devs are being told, oh, this game was a failure. Well, make some bug fixes, make some smaller changes, but the core of the gameplay will not change. That they are allowed to do that they have the opportunity to do that, I think is a positive sign. Now we have to see if it works out and how long it takes. With that said, definitely let me know what you think down below in the comments. I'm really curious to see the community's reaction on this. If you enjoyed this video, also make sure to like. And also, if you're new to the channel, you want to see more strategy, management, and building games, well, you came to the right place, and you might want to consider to subscribe. With that said, thank you so much for watching. Stay safe. Bye-bye.